The immortal John Hancock here, and today I'm going to be discussing with you 10 good and cheap PlayStation 2 puzzle games that you can still find today. This is part of an ongoing series. I'm having a lot of fun going back and sharing games that you can still find on a budget. A lot of comments have said thank you for doing these, and I like to share some game selections with you of, I think, games that are still good today. And so if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button and click the bell as I'm uploading videos every week and having a lot of fun. First up is The Adventures of Cookie and Cream. This is a fantastic cooperative puzzle game. This is a great one to play with someone you know well. It is a lot of fun. You can play this by yourself, but it is very challenging. I like that you have to work with someone else to unlock your paths. There's a multiplayer version in this game as well. You can battle it out, but I do think the cooperative mode in this game is the best, and I highly recommend this game. This is kind of a hidden gem on the PlayStation 2, and one that's definitely worth going back to revisit and play. This next one was sent to me from a Secret Santa this year. Thank you so much, Josh. And that's Bombastic. This is the follow-up to Devil Dice. I've heard about this game. Oh my goodness, so great. There's so many different modes. I like trial mode so far of what I've played, but there's a ton in this game. It's easy to pick up, but very difficult to master. And essentially, you're trying to match up dice with the same number. And, you know, there's lots of different modes, and there's a quest mode. There's definitely some cool aspects of this game. I have just scratched the surface, but I have liked what I've played so far. I've heard people talk about this. This has been well reviewed across the board, and it's definitely one I've been told holds up to today, and I'm here to say yes. This is definitely of the games on this list. It's one you may have not heard of as much. Definitely check out Bombastic. This is a great title and very affordable. Now, this next one's been in my collection a long time. It's actually a launch title for the PlayStation 2, and that's Fantavision. Now, I didn't think much of this game when it came out, but fast forward to today, I have a son that is a huge fireworks fan, and I went back and played this with him, and he loves it. You're launching fireworks in the sky, and your chain reaction, you're trying to ignite them in a sequence. It's a real-time puzzle game. It's something that, you know, it took me a while to really appreciate this game, but I think it holds up. I still think it's fun. There is a PlayStation 4 remake of this. For those that don't have a PlayStation 2, you can check it out that way. Pretty cool that they're offering that. Give yourself some time to play this game. And I think once you do and you figure out the game mechanics, you're going to love it. If you like fireworks, this is a great game and definitely a fun game to play around New Year's, 4th of July, or any celebration. All right, I know this is a favorite of several people, and this is one I recently went back to play, and that's Eco. Now, Eco has a lot to it, and I know that it's a platform game, but there's a lot of puzzle in this amazing game. It has such an artistic appeal to it. A lot of people like the graphics, and you know, this game doesn't hold your hand. You know, here's a puzzle, or here's a castle, and go check it out. And so there's a lot to explore. You're in an ancient castle, and you find eventually a companion, and with that, you have to solve and explore different puzzles to progress. This game can be fairly challenging. Definitely worth checking out. It is fairly challenging, but is an awesome experience. It's a single player experience. And so if you're not really looking for like a traditional puzzle game, but this may appeal to you because it has a lot of puzzles in this game to solve. And so wonderful, wonderful game, and one of the best for the PlayStation 2. Also, this was remastered on the PlayStation 3 with Shadow of Colossus. And so this is a great one to pick up if you have a PlayStation 3. This next one, I can still hum the tune. Wonderful game in which you are fixing a mistake. King of all cosmos messed up, and so you have to gather with your Katamari things and get the stars back into the sky. It's a weird premise. It is absolute blast to play. If you have a PlayStation 2, check this out. And also the follow-up, We Love Katamari. But there's also a remake of this, Katamari Reroll, and that's available on current platforms. But go back to the original. This is a wonderful game. So much to do. There's multiplayer, and it's got a cool premise where you're rolling around gathering things, and you grow after you capture so many items on your Katamari. And so it's got great gameplay. I like the dual analog control of this game, and it's a lot of fun. Still so much of a blast to play. It's got cool catchy music, and I think this is one, definitely if you haven't checked this out, this is one of my favorite PlayStation 2 games. This next compilation actually was a disappointment, but there's one game on it that actually I think holds up, and that's Columns. Now, the Columns remake on Sega Classics Collection, you know, it takes and captures a lot of the original. In fact, it updates it, but there's also an added story mode. And so I've always been a fan of Columns, and there's many different versions of Columns out there on classic computers. You know, Sega Genesis is the one that I grew up and played. But, you know, the remake on the PlayStation 2 is fairly decent. Some of the other games, not so much. But if you're going to pick this up, one of the better games is Columns on it. It's got several of your kind of traditional modes on it, and I think it's pretty good. Like Eco, Shadow of Colossus is an amazing game, and this one's actually considered a puzzle game. And so pretty much you're not given much direction other than you have to go track down 16 Colossi, these huge bosses. And, you know, you have to explore terrain, you have to get to them. That's kind of the challenge of the game too. And then when you get to them, you have to find their weakness to defeat them. This is an amazing game. Now, there's a couple things. It was remastered on the PlayStation 3, and it was remade on the PlayStation 4. So there's several ways to check out this game. But why not go back and play the PlayStation 2 version? I'm a big fan of going back to the original releases of things and checking them out, and then playing the updated versions or the remakes or the remasters. And so this is a wonderful game. It has a great experience. Just the size of the enemies that you play in this game are huge. It has that sense of scale in it. And the art and just the experience itself. If you haven't checked this out, one of the better PlayStation 2 games, definitely worth it. This next one is just bizarre. And so, you know, I grew up with arcades and playing, you know, Bust-A-Move, but Super Bust-A-Move is definitely one that is just bizarre. So take that and take very colorful enemies and a couple extra modes. The chain reaction mode in this is pretty good, but if you're a fan of those types of games, there's a ton of them out there. This one's more on the weird side, just so the characters are kind of trippy in it. But I like it. I like it better than the original release on the PlayStation 2. And so, yes, if you're looking for something a little different, check out this if you're a fan of the series. I've been a huge fan of this next game, and that's Super Monkey Ball Deluxe. Now, the Xbox version is better, but this still has 300 levels that you can check out. And so the levels start out pretty simple, but they can get very challenging. And so, yes, you're in a monkey and a ball. You have to get from start to finish. There's a timer. You know, you have to collect various things in each stage. And if you ever play like the marble game, in which you have a board and you're trying to get the marble into the goal, well, that's how this controls. I really like what they did here. Now, if you're not a big puzzle person, there's tons of party and multiplayer aspects of this game. And so I'm including it here because the majority of this game is puzzle, but there's also a ton of multiplayer, lots of fun to check out and play with friends, and definitely a great one to check out. Now, the PlayStation 2 one gets rated a little bit less than the Xbox one, but this is still good. Tons to enjoy here. This last one, you're like, well, wait a minute. What about, I haven't forgot about it, okay? Here's Tetris, all right? Tetris Worlds. Now, Tetris has been released on literally everything. This is kind of an average version of Tetris, but it's the only version I do believe that's on the PlayStation 2. And so Tetris Worlds, it was developed and produced by different companies among many different platforms. But the one on the PlayStation 2 is okay. I like collapse mode, and so I played it, and it's pretty decent on this. And so it's not perfect, And there's other modes that are more flashier, or maybe you prefer a more classic Tetris, such as Nintendo or Game Boy. But the PlayStation 2 version of Tetris is okay. Those are my picks for puzzle games that are good and cheap that you can still find today. What are your picks? I don't have them all. I just chose games that I had in my collection, and want to thank everybody for the ongoing support. My channel's growing, and I want to thank and appreciate all the positive comments. Thank you. Your folks' support means the world to me. Hit that like and subscribe button and click the bell as I'm uploading videos every week. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. This is the immortal John Hancock, and you have a good day.